Welcome in, everybody. Today is book club, and look who took over book club.
That's right.
We've had a Tracy takeover.
The fools let me be in charge. I have no idea how this happened, but it is only a temporary hold. As you can see by the thumbnail, it's a Tracy Glenn takeover. So what's up, guys? How are you? How's the reading going?
I was smart and I didn't start even reviewing again because I knew I was going to go further ahead. So whatever's in my brain is from last week because I had read to chapter 4.
Okay.
Hi, Sunshine.
Welcome in, Sunshine.
Me.
I was trying to remember exactly where we did stop. I know it was we got into 3, right? Or did we actually stop at the beginning of 3?
Yeah, we got into somewhere on 3. So
I'm just trying to catch up on my notes here, so I know. Yeah, there.
So first things,
Tina's.
We have the Tina's in the chat. Tina McNeil said she's sitting in a hotel room.
Nice.
So either she's trying to rub
she's
it in
Florida.
She's rubbing it in that she's going to Florida. I've got 4 weeks and then I'm back. So
that's the family trip, right?
Yeah, that's going to be the family trip. So Tina and Tina Marie, and I think that's it for now. Hopefully people find us because we're on Tracy Glenn's channel. I did throw it out there. Hopefully you guys got the notifications.
Yeah,
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome in. How is everybody?
Thank you.
Hello, Garrett, and Tim Pruitt's also in.
I'm in the chat too. I am. I said hi to Tina. Hey, Garrett.
All right, I'll try tomorrow. Right now, I'm bored, so I'm glad you're here. Okay. So let's talk about where did we leave off? Does anybody remember?
I didn't mark it. I thought I marked the page, but I didn't.
I don't think we got it.
We didn't get far into the 3rd chapter.
I think the beginning of chapter 3. Yeah.
No, that's not my cat.
36.
Hey.
Okay, so
we just start at the beginning and work through it, I guess.
Yeah, I really think it's the beginning of chapter 3. We should start right there because I don't remember going over it.
All right, so just before dinner time, the boy brought the reply from my brothers. In the last chapter, we learned that her 2 brothers are Minecraft and Sherlock Holmes, who are known for Sherlock Holmes. So we get the connection, and this is, I think, the first time that we get the connection that Alona is the younger sibling of 2 great minds of their generation, which is Sherlock and Minecraft. And Minecraft is more of a government employee, but high in the government employee. And Sherlock is an independent. If people don't know, Sherlock is an independent investigator. And a lot of people say that Sherlock has done a lot for the forensics in today's world. It was the beginning of looking for the insignificant stuff. Welcome in, Cherie, Surfer Girl. Welcome in. So she gets the letter. Now she gets the letter that says, "Arriving first thing in the morning by train. Please meet at station stop M&S Homes." So she now knows that her brothers are coming. So what did you think? I mean, were you surprised in the book itself that they were on their way or they would come right away?
I guess I did because I thought that. It says their mother, even though as we learn more about it, it's maybe surprising. But I guess I wasn't too surprised they're showing up that fast. But then again, it's pretty quick. Mm-hmm. I don't know how far from London. They were in London, I think. I'm not sure how far from London they really are, but Apparently, not more than a quick train or overnight train ride or something
Right.
to get there.
Hi, Lisa. It's Joey's World. Hashtag Joey Rocks.
Hey, Joey.
Hi, Cherie.
And
Joey.
Shari's here. And Candy Mom. Cynthia's here. Welcome in.
I want candy.
I almost did that. I started saying we don't have the music, but
Yadi,
sing
she's
it.
like, Yadi, look at you. It's probably my glasses. Do I look smart?
Oh, wait a second. We're supposed to look smart.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
guys. Normally, I can't see. Even I do my Friday night lives and stuff, and I'm looking at the screen. I could hardly see the comments because I refuse to wear my glasses. But it's book club. I gotta wear my glasses. I have no choice.
I like them.
I can't.
Welcome in, MVP.
I can do everything but read. I can't read without mine. And the computer screen is. These are for the computer, so I can see the.
The thing
chat.
is
I tell you
that
what,
I already wear contacts for far, and now I'm so old. I have to wear glasses to read. It's horrible. I need bifocal contacts. Yes, Glenn, I love it. Crazy.
I had an eye doctor told me when I was younger that I had really good eyes and I'd probably never need glasses, and I took his word for it. And then when I hit about 45, he was a liar.
A liar.
Discovered he was a liar.
For sure.
Does
Yes,
anybody
Tracy,
know how
I
to
like
say
it.
the name of the town. Chancelia is the nearest town to the railway station that lies 10 miles beyond Kinford. So here we have where Alona, she decides to look like the part, look like the lady that she's supposed to kind of. So it's kind of like we know where she's supposed to, where even though her mother's raised her to be an independent and free thinking, correct? She also knows how to play the part a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So she takes the bath. Oh, we did talk about that, right?
We did talk about her taking a bath. I think that's
Yeah,
where we
we
actually
did
stopped.
talk about
Right?
that
I
part.
remember that
Yep.
now. Yeah.
So we did talk about her taking a bath,
Mhm.
and then she goes.
Sorry.
She hasn't seen her brothers in 10 years. The last time she's seen her brothers was at her father's funeral. Right? She says, I remember them that they had been seemed very tall in their top hats, draped in black crepe, and severe in their front frock coats and black gloves and their black armbands, gleaming black patent leather boots. And I wonder if father had really expired of mortification due to my existence, as the village children like to tell me, or whether he had succumbed to fever and pleurisy, as Mom said. So she's still under the assumption that her father, and she's an embarrassment to the family.
Yeah.
And
Well, it seems weird that the kids, she says the kids even made fun of her for that or
Well-
bullied her about it. That just seems so odd to me. Not that I don't think kids are mean, but go ahead,
Well,
Tracy. I'm sorry.
no, kids are mean.
That's what I said. Not that I don't think they're mean, but that's not something I don't think I would have thought of. And I went to school with a guy who was about that age difference to me, his brothers and sisters. I don't remember ever making fun of him for that or blaming him for anything, with his mother.
But you can't.
Go ahead.
So in my opinion, you really can't think of it like that. So you got to remember, this is 1880.
Right.
In 1880, you also, there's still.
It's 1880 England.
Huh?
So it's 1880 in England.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's really different.
Correct. And earlier in this chapter, she had mentioned that, the wives or the mothers would go in the house, come out with a new baby every so often. So they had a plethora of kids. And so an age difference of 1 or 2 years wasn't much. But when you're talking 10 10, 15 years difference, it's huge, because then it was either late in stage life baby, like unplanned, or something to that effect. So for them, they looked at it as the kids around them, they have multiple kids. Also, the getting kids out of adolescence was tough, no matter where you're looking at it, because unfortunately, they didn't have the technology or the knowledge of what we know today. So we lose a kid at a young age. It's terrifying. In their life, I'm assuming they lost multiple kids, or some kids in adolescence, before they made it to adulthood.
Well, plus it would have been harder on the mother in this case too, at an older age, to just to bear children. I mean, it seems more common today, but even when I was growing up, women didn't usually have babies after they were 40 or in their 30s, even sometimes. But back then, I'm sure that was even more difficult, because so many did die during childbirth.
Correct. So she gets dressed. She decides to go down and ride her bicycle. And as she's riding her bicycle, she's thinking of all the things. She knows of her brother Sherlock and the popularity, because now we get the first mention of Dr. Watson, and the study of Scarlet. Because her mom had bought a copy, and she's again thinking to herself, don't think of mom.
Yeah.
And ever since reading the book, she's dreamed of London. Now in her thought process, she's thinking London of two different Londons. You have the seedy side of London and the seedy side of London and the glitzy part of London.
I'll be right back.
That's okay.
Keep going. I'll be listening.
Guys, if anything, make sure you pop in. Don't let me monopolize this conversation, because I've been known to do that. Okay?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yep.
Simone, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right, because it looks like your picture's frozen, Simone.
No,
No? Okay.
maybe.
So what do you think of the thought process and the bicycle?
I mean, I that whole part is just like, you feel for her, because she's like, she's gonna go meet these brothers that she doesn't know. She hasn't seen since she was a baby, since she thought that her father died because of her, existence. I mean, how heartbreaking
That's
is
gotta
that?
be hard.
And at the same time, she's like, and the only reason I'm gonna see him is because my mom is gone, and oh my god, my mom is gone, or where's my mom? What's happening? So it's like, it's you feel for her in this process of her bike ride. I was riding it with her. I was like, oh gosh.
Me too.
And for me, it's totally different, because I can't put myself in her shoes. I can't put myself in a little girl's shoes, or even a 14-year-old girl's shoes, and thinking about, I didn't have the same thought process as a 14-year-old boy. At 14, I was thinking of something other than what's going on, but in the anxiety that comes from being a young
Right.
girl in this world.
I found it interesting because one of the lines that I read, and it said, cycling, I found, allows one to think without fear of one's facial expressions being observed. And I don't know why, when I read that, it was a little bit like emotional, just because like she already felt awkward with what she was wearing. She didn't know who her brothers were going to be, or I mean, she knew who they were, obviously, but it was a long time. And then she started thinking about her mom, and it's like, I don't know, when she said that, when she's like, oh, no one can see what I'm like looking like right now as I'm riding my bike. It's like she's only 14, so felt bad for her in that.
I thought it was funny too. I'm sorry, guys. I'm putting ice on my leg, trying to ease some pain here. I thought it was funny too. She's a very practical young lady though, because she's a house. I mean, she dresses and stuff like her mother has allowed her to, but to her it's practical. She's outside. They're doing things in the fields or the woods, and she's talking about young ladies of a certain class are expected to wear white when they go outside. She said, which is ridiculous because it shows up every flick of dirt there is. So she's thinking about it in a whole nother way. It's not fashion to her; it's practicality.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the middle of that somewhere, and I just want to throw that in.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome in, Kay. Simone?
Oh, I lost my.
Yeah.
Yep, she's there.
What do you think? You've read it, so what was your thought process?
I'm like all the way on chapter 8, so trying to figure out.
Are you trying to be like me and read ahead?
What?
She's trying to be like me and read ahead.
Yep.
Yes. It pulled me in and I couldn't stop it,
Yeah.
so it didn't work out.
Is that Glenn Tracy?
happened.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn Tracy, how you doing, buddy?
And then
Dad build?
yeah.
Woo,
No,
how you doing,
no.
guys?
No, it's Tim Pruitt.
It's Tim Pruitt,
Is that good?
classy Disney lady, and happily ever Yachty. Right? I got the name right.
Thank you.
So, and then what I liked about reading this chapter is she's comparing herself to her brother Sherlock. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I just went past it. She goes, I remember Dr. Watson listing my brother's accomplishments. And yes, there you go. I got it out. Scholar, chemist, superb ventriloquist. No, violinist, not a ventriloquist, because that's a totally different thing. I don't know if you can make a. All right. Expert marksman, swordsman, single stick fighter, pugilist, and brilliant detective thinker. Then I formed my mental list of my own accomplishments. Able to read, write, do sums, find bird nest, dig worms and catch fish, and oh yes, ride a bicycle.
She also
when you
compared.
realize
Go ahead, Simone.
she's just a kid. So, in comparison.
She's a
trying to
kid who
figure
thinks she's probably much older. In some ways, I think she thinks she should be much older, or
Yeah.
she's been raised a little bit different.
Hello, Carlos. Welcome in. He says I didn't read, but wanted to say hello. Well, hello.
Hello,
Annie
Carlos.
Coog. Hello, everyone. Annie Coog, and where's Tina? Tina's taking a little bit of a break. I think the migraines are getting to her with the lights and
Vertigo.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
What she said,
Whatever.
because I don't remember it.
I also thought it was funny how she compared her name to theirs. Her name spells Enola spells alone backwards, and she's trying to figure out what Sherlock and Mycroft spell backwards,
Yeah. So
which are just nothing. I mean, I don't think they're really spell anything. Which I just thought was funny that she was trying to compare those two things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then she was riding her bike, and then she decided maybe I should, pay attention to the road. And how is she going to find the railroad station? Because I'm assuming while she ventures in her own little town, she doesn't venture much outside of that town.
That's what I gathered. So
Yeah.
she knows kind of how to get there because she can follow the road signs. But once she gets there, she has no idea where the train station is until she gets there and figures it out.
And then she sees the steam. That's how she figures it out.
Which is a good clue.
Pedaling towards it, I soon heard the roaring, shrieking, clanging noise and engine coming in. I arrived at the platform just as it did. So she found it.
Yep, she sure did.
And she's very observant. I mean, I think that's partly what they're trying to point out here too. Or, she didn't just panic because she didn't know where the train station was. She looked around and saw the steam, figured out, train station. Some people wouldn't put that together. I think like that. They wouldn't think in that. And that's a simple thing, but still.
I mean, in this day and age, or this time period, you would assume a big cloud of steam would be a steam engine. I mean, unless there's a lot of factories around.
Well, the world was powered by steam back then, so it's possible.
So then she sees. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt anybody.
No, go ahead, Tracy.
I want to look smart with my glasses on, but I'm getting a lot of reflection.
Everybody has glasses on now.
Yeah.
That's because I want to look smart like the rest of you.
Ah.
I mean, heck, I just turned 39.
I should still be good, okay?
What?
Your eyes should still be good if you just turned 39.
That's right. It usually doesn't happen until after you're 40s, Tracy.
Well,
Yeah.
This is my 8th year at 39, so do the math.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then.
You know what I'm saying?
Know what you're saying.
So then she comes across. I had no difficulty recognizing the two male Londoners who had been my brothers. They wore gentlemen's country attire, dark tweed suits in a braid with braid edging, soft ties, bowler hats, and kid gloves. Only gentry wore gloves in the height of summer. One of my brothers has grown a bit stout, showing an expansive silk waistcoat. And she immediately picks out that is Mycroft.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because, one, she knows what Sherlock somewhat looks like because she has read Dr. Watson's stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't know her, they just walked right on by. But they hadn't seen her since she was about 4 years old, I'm thinking.
That is correct. If she's 14.
Yeah.
If she just turned 14. She just turned 14, so she hasn't seen him in 10 years. I think people do. I know I definitely don't look the same as I was at 4.
I do. And my beard was darker. But
Hello, Keith, big Disney fan. Welcome in.
and especially when you're. That's what BDF stands for. Thank you, Tracy. I didn't know that. I've been trying to figure that out. Especially when from the age 4 to 14, your body's changed so much in that time period. I'm sure she was a lot taller and just didn't look anything like she did when
And
they
I
last saw her.
think the way she was living was different than what they expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think. I mean, I know they came because I had gotten to a certain point in the movie on Netflix that I had stopped, but that's because I'm a Sherlock Holmes nerd, and along with everything else that I follow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the movie.
I don't think they were expecting her either. I don't think.
No, they were
they'll
expecting a
remember that.
carriage.
So they,
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I mean, we can get ahead, and that's fine. And when they do see her, they ask her why she's not dressed, or her the lace ripped from her clothing. She's trying to dry. They take aback in the fact that she's actually there, because when they send that telegram, when they send that telegram, they're expecting a coach,
Right, a carriage with
a carriage.
a driver and the whole bit, because that's what they. That's one thing. That's what Mycroft's been paying for.
And that's what we get. That's what we definitely get into this chapter. We get to the chapter where Mycroft is pretty much inquiring, or pretty much quizzing Ilona is like, what's going on? How come you didn't send the carriage? He's paying for a carriage. And then he starts questioning her about the grounds. He's paying for a gardener. He's paying for this. He's paying for that. He's paying. And now all of a sudden, he comes to realize that there's 3 employees in the whole house.
I thought
Yeah.
this was I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say yes, yes, Cynthia. That is sunshine. Say hi, Simone.
Hi, Simone.
I'm the jokester here.
No, I am.
I'm the one who takes everything off track.
Good one.
Darn it, Tina. See what happens? You put me in charge and I can't take the stream off track. All right.
Yeah, this is when we start into a whole nother. We're hearing a lot of Mycroft's thought, or what they're saying or asking thoughts, because he's been sending all this money to Mom for all these years, and now they don't know where it's been going, which is leading them down, I think, a whole different path than anything Enola's thought of, because I don't think she thinks Mom would do that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got out of this is when you read Sherlock, you don't see Sherlock as a snob.
Mm-hmm.
When you read the Sherlock stories, you know he's arrogant. There's no doubt that he comes across as arrogant. And you never see him come off as a snob. What I found interesting in this chapter is not only does Mycroft, which we all know is a snob and arrogant, Sherlock did too.
Yeah. This was a little bit upsetting when I was reading this, actually. I mean, I really, not upsetting. I mean, I like the book and I'm actually loving it. But it was so heartbreaking the way that they were treating her. And I had read, because with my daughter, when we used to homeschool, we read quite a bit of like Sherlock, and then she read something from the library, but I didn't know that he was like this, you know. And that was just like I remember reading it, and I was thinking to myself, wow, he's pretty mean. I mean, it's like beyond. I don't know. It was like the way that he was, just referring. And I understand that there was a lot of difference in society things, but he was pretty mean. And
Well,
of course, yeah.
No, go ahead. I think you're saying the same thing. So.
Yeah, no. And then, of course, also learning that none of what they thought was going on in their home was what their childhood home was going on. So, but even when they first met her, it was, I said, oh, I thought it was a street urchin. And I don't know, just, it was a little bit, I guess I was surprised. Like I thought I knew that he was maybe kind of aloof, but I didn't know that he was, like this mean. So.
Well, he has no, and I think I was surprised by this because I haven't read enough of the books. I've seen movies and shows and that kind of thing. But he has very little respect for women, period, in an intellectual sort of way. He's, and I guess at that time period, that would be a typical mindset. And I never thought Sherlock was like that. Never thought about it, I guess. But he has no, I mean, they're both looked down. They kind of both, Mycroft and Sherlock both seem to look down on their mother because she's a woman. What would she know about all these things? They didn't even want her to run the house. When father died, they thought she shouldn't. And she had no legal rights back then. That was the same thing in this country. Women had no rights to own things, so a lot of times they couldn't inherit their husband's estates. That's usually where an elder son or something would come in to play.
But that's the class system that you see. And
yeah,
while I don't think Sir Arthur Conan Doyle would portray Sherlock like this, considering that how he had dealt with street urchins and how he deals with the city of London, maybe he didn't expect a family member to act like a street urchin or someone of an understatus. Maybe he was expecting a very formal, more Sherlock or Minecraft type of girl coming out of this family, not the girl that she's
Probably.
presenting.
Mhm.
Which and again, this is this author's take on Sherlock, and I can say it's an interesting take on Sherlock, and I think I've said it in the past couple streams. I liked how this person, this author, has put themselves into this time period to write in this time period, because she didn't put herself in today's age writing this age, because for some reason you have to displace yourself and put you into this time period, and it's a tough time period to be in.
Yeah.
Especially for someone of different class, a lower class or a female, and I'm not saying that it's right in any way, and I don't want to see people to think that I was come across that way. I'm just saying that this is the way they looked at the world back then, which is a horrible way to look at the world if you put it in today's perspective.
Yeah.
Well, and from other things I've seen and read, this time period when suffrage was starting to become of age in England. I don't know exactly when women got to vote there, but I know suffragettes were marching and things like that. So times were starting to change, but in their way of looking at that wasn't a good thing. So that kind of put men and women at odds as women started to speak up and take their rights, if you will. Ask for equal treatment. So there might have been a little bit of that thinking going on there too. So
welcome in, Francisco. That's funny to say, Francisco. Sorry, it's in the contract. So, and then again, we get to the point where, Mycroft asks, can you tell me what happened? And she kind of runs through the whole idea of what's going on. Her mom, no, she left no message. No, there was no reason to think she might have taken ill. Her health was excellent. No, there's been no word from her or from anyone. No, in answer to Sherlock's questions, there had been no bloodstains, no footprints, no signs of forced entry. So you see the two brothers coming at this at two different angles. One of them's coming at the angle of what happened, and Sherlock straight to the forensics. Did she see this at the house? Did she see this in the house?
Yeah, I think Mycroft's really focused on where's all the money gone? Why is she not? He seems to be focused kind of on that, and Sherlock's starting to pick up the fact that she's missing maybe a little bit. And
well, I think Sherlock's thought process, he's thinking if there's signs of something wrong, then there's an explanation.
Yeah. I think they were shocked when they went in her room too.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Sorry, I had something flying over my head. I think I've got a bug in the house.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not, especially if he sees it. So he may be on my head in a minute trying to get it. Anyway.
Okay. So when we're getting into chapter 4, so pretty much in chapter 3, what we get in chapter 3 was that she doesn't appear to what they expect her to appear like. They don't expect her to appear at all at the train station. She now has to get a hansom cab and had the bike tied up and then brought back to
Ferndale or whatever they call it.
Right, back to the townhouse. And here now Mycroft sees that, one, there's no seamstress, there's no governess, there's no gardener. He's been paying monthly for services not being rendered. Now I think when we get into the next chapter, now we're going to see Mycroft looking at it as, one, where's all my money going? And two, did she take off with it? Because that's where it goes. Welcome back, Tina.
Yeah, that's where his mind's going. So And eventually they outright say it. She's taking off with them. She's just taking off with the money and run. And at this point, we have no idea what she's done with the money.
Now, what's interesting was actually get how old her mother is.
Mm-hmm.
In this chapter, we get that she's 64. So when she had Enola, she was 50.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely makes sense that it's definitely late in stage life. Or people would think that she probably wasn't her mother's child or her father's child. So who knows where that whole process comes in.
That's true.
And then they go into the room and they start doing some of that looking around.
Which really took them aback, I think. Seemed to.
I thought I had gotten through this chapter. I did. Because this is where he starts getting... This is where Minecraft starts asking for... a music teacher,
Yeah.
a gardener, housemaids, kitchen maid, a daily help. And even Sherlock getting in on this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
They didn't even really acknowledge. I think she said it about Sherlock, where when they did come in, they didn't really even. He didn't really acknowledge very well Mrs. Lane, and I just think that they were pretty shocked. So.
And I don't think it actually said it in the text, but evidently one of them said something to Mrs. Lane about the floors because she's down scrubbing the floors. I don't know if we got to that point, but we're about to if we haven't. And kind of like, he must have said something to her that made her feel like she needed to be getting that done real quick.
Well, I mean, again, class system. Just look at the Downton Abbey series. The homeowners or the upper class didn't associate with the help. When we look back into that, even that one chapter where Enola says that she would never talk to her like that, but she was talking to her, but not talking directly at her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now you see it a little bit more of where Enola dealt with it, and she knew because that's who pretty much was helping her around the house. Sherlock and Minecraft definitely doesn't respect the help, and I don't know, and I don't get it because this author put him in that position, into that feel, or making us feel like these two people are jerks. Everybody who's read Sherlock Holmes knows that Minecraft's a bit of a jerk, but you always had a sympathetic, or you cared about Sherlock. This chapter made me dislike Sherlock a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hello, Nick. Welcome in. So, and I did, that was tough for me to read.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping in the long run, getting into this book, that I come around to liking Sherlock again. But hello, Chris. Dad Builds. Welcome in.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe by the time we get to, and I haven't read that far ahead, so I don't want to, and I'm not asking for anybody to divulge, but that maybe that starts to change a little bit when more things start to become clear, I guess. There's still a lot of things up in the air we just don't know about at this point in the book, and with those guys throwing in their point of view and their perspective, it's not making a lot of sense at this point.
But here's what's also interesting is in this chapter we get why there was a fallout between mother and sons compared to here. Enola has always thought her brothers didn't like her, and it wasn't that at all. So what do you guys feel about that?
I thought it was interesting. Because
I
now
think
it
it's
moves.
all a mystery to her. That poor girl has lived her
Yeah.
life thinking so much stuff that she's the reason her father died out of embarrassment or whatever, and that the people hate her for this and that. And she meets her brothers. Her brothers don't even acknowledge her existence. Now she's embarrassed, almost like, what are they talking about? They think that we have grounds and we have carriages and it's all a confusion. Her mom is gone, and it's like you feel for her at this point because you know it's a little too much for a 14-year-old. Poor girl. It's a
It's
little much too much to take in.
There's a line here that says, "I assure you, mother is neither in her dotage or demented," said Mycroft to Sherlock. "No senile woman could have compiled the account she has sent me over the past 10 years, perfectly clear and orderly, detailing the expense of installing a bathroom which does not exist." So I mean, in a way, like you said, Yadi, it's like it's making her feel like, oh, maybe it wasn't all about me, like that they hate
Mhm.
me. So,
Yeah, and it's like it was all about her before. Her thoughts were all about her before, and now she's finding out all these things that her brother, she was supposed to have a governess, she was supposed to have this, and she was supposed to have that, and now she's finding out, whoa, what's happening here?
Well, she also has to look at it is that she's also feeling threatened by these two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then she comes back with that retort, "I'm educated."
Mhm.
They were thinking that she was not educated to a certain point.
Yeah.
And she does have a comeback. Uh, bu- bu-
Yes.
what's that? She's read the Encyclopedia
You said
Britannica. I've read Shakespeare, Aristotle,
Aristotle.
Locke,
Mhm.
the novels of Thackeray, and the essays of Mary Wollstonecraft. So I mean, she's thinking that she got to a certain point in school, mom pulled her out of school, but when you get further and they're talking about um, you know what happened between the family, why hasn't she seen her brothers, and then they pretty much tell her you don't remember, and then she's got that perfect retort. I was 4. I don't know if any of you remembering what
Yeah.
happened at the age of 4. I mean, I do. I was an intelligent little guy.
Yeah. Well.
Come on, I got to get us off track a little bit.
Well, this is also where Sherlock just flat comes out and says you can't trust a woman.
She did, and not only that, he also says, the pity of the girl's cranial capacity, Minecraft.
Yes. Oh. Yeah.
And then he pretty much says, and the theory is that with all the money that Minecraft's been sending to their mother, she's been socking it away, ready for her escape.
Mhm.
And Alona, in her 14-year-old mind, cannot think of why my mom would run away.
Not only run away, but run away on her birthday.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was
But
just the two of them.
Mhm.
but I have to think back to the epilogue and the prelude in this book. I think the prelude, when we go back all the way to the beginning of this book, I think that is her mother in London looking for something or somebody.
hmm.
So this is written by Nancy Springer. Sounds good, but wanted to make sure I got the right one. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay, this is exactly it.
Yeah, and it's oh shoot, I lost that thought.
Well,
Go
we
ahead,
ain't got
Tracy, because
time
I
for you to
lost
find it.
Do what?
Did you want to get in the car and go find it?
Well, I may have to. Is car key here? I don't have my key. No, she's not in here.
No.
They're looking. I think she. Well, she asked. I know what I was going to say. I may not be able to find it again, but her big question is: Am I to have my mother back again or not? she's looking at it like my mother's missing. You guys are missing the point here. They're looking at no bathroom or water closet, no governess, no horses and carriage in the stables. They're looking at it like all of that. And she said, she's trying to say, I want my mom back. I don't care about all that stuff. I want to find my mother. And they've not been with their mother in 10 years, so they don't know what her mindset was. I feel like all the correspondence between them has been about money. We need money for this or send money for that, or, paying bills and that sort of thing, which is their own fault too, because they wouldn't let women have any access to that sort of stuff at the time. She wasn't allowed to pay her own bills or her own governess, or at least that's how I take it and have seen depicted. But, and Enola wants to know, I don't care. I don't care about all that stuff. I want to know if my mother's going to be coming back. And, she sees her as a mother figure. They just see her as another woman who was married to their father at one time. Even though she's their mother, I don't think they look at it that way.
No. But what I do like in this chapter, and I'm going to read this per se, if you guys don't mind, is, well, she did not run it, did she? Yet Minecraft sounded and considered the idea served. No, hold on.
What page are you on?
48, I think.
I can't tell what page is on.
Disagreement as to handling the estate. Neither Sherlock nor I wanted to live here, so Mother thought that the rent money should come directly to her, and that she should run Ferndale Park. Well, she did run it, didn't she? Yet Minecraft sounded as if he considered the idea absurd. As I am the firstborn son, the estate is mine. He went on, and Mother did not dispute that, but she could not seem to see why she should not manage things for me, rather than the other way around. When Sherlock and I reminded her that she had no right to live here unless I permit it, she became quite irrational and made it clear that we are no longer welcome in our own birthplace. So then Alona starts getting, oh my goodness, everything seemed to turn upside down in my mind, as if it was swinging by swinging its knees from the tree limb. All my life I assumed my brothers kept their distance due to my shameful existence, whereas they were saying it was a quarrel with my mother. So I think what we're kind of learning out of these first 4 chapters is Alona always thought that, one, she was alone because everybody was embarrassed by her. It comes out that I don't think anybody was embarrassed by her. Maybe her mom was embarrassed by her being a late in life baby, but we don't know that for sure until we get further into the book. Welcome in Adventures by D.
Okay.
So it's interesting the way we're looking at it. I can't wait to get further into this book. And it seems like we're only about and for a young reader's book, and this is basically a young reader's book, I think it's taken us longer to get through this young reader's book than it did the last 3 or 4 books that we read.
Well, there's a lot of detail here. There's a lot going on for a young adult book or whatever this is classified as, but there just seems like there's a whole lot happening.
Garrett, have a good day. Stay off that app. Hopefully Michelle erased it for you.
Yeah, really.
So I think we're going to leave it there. So what do you think of this? The first 4 chapters. What's your overall experience so far? So just kind of limit to this 4 chapters. I'm going to start with Simone. What do you think so far? If you're just limited to the first 4 chapters.
I think Sherlock is a jerk, and I really want to hurt him. I feel really sorry for his sister. And I don't know. He has a good sense of direction, though. I would have probably gotten lost. But
I don't disagree.
Neither do I.
I don't. I have no sense of direction.
That's funny.
The only direction I need to have is My Way to Orlando. So,
Yes.
so Yadi, what do you think up to these 4 chapters? Where are you at?
I absolutely love it. I remember in our book club, someone said, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's a teenage or whatever book." I love it. I think it's intense, it's suspenseful, it gets you thinking. So I'm enjoying the book completely. I just want to finish it. Like I want to go ahead. I'm just like you, Tracy. I like have to stop myself from reading. You know.
It's tough to stop yourself. And I'm
Mhm.
listen. By no means am I putting this as a young reader book down. Believe me, because there are a lot of good young reader books that I have read over and over. I think I've read. I mean, if you look at it, Harry Potter is considered a youth
Mhm.
reader book, and the same thing with the Hunger Games, which is considered
Yeah,
a youth reader book.
I read all of those.
I don't.
Me too.
I've read all of those within the last 15 years, if not
Mhm.
So it's not like I don't appreciate a good young reader's novel at all. Because even with the Star Wars books, I read the youth reader novels because it dealt with the storyline, and anything that I can do to expand my storyline, I'm down with. Welcome in, Charlie or Stacy and Disney Nerd Herders.
Hi there.
So, Gina, so far, what do you think?
I really like the book too. I feel like that I could picture almost like what I'm reading, which is not easy to do sometimes, when you're reading, it's like you to actually put yourself in it and like see whatever it is that they're describing. Um, and I think it's just because it's for me, it's like a teenage girl. And um, I mean, my daughter's a little older than that, but it's like, it just gives you another perspective, and I'm really excited to see. I'm hoping that Sherlock becomes a little bit nicer, because I was really shocked by that. So yeah, I'm excited to go forward with it.
All right, Tim.
I'm pretty much the same. I mean, they've kind of all said the same things I've been thinking about it. I don't know how many of you guys watched the show, but there was a recent series on CBS about Sherlock.
You mean
He,
Elementary?
yeah, Elementary. And in some ways, he
No.
kind of came across like, what was that, nerd? Is that what you? Well, we watched it when it was on. I mean, we liked the show, and in that show, Sherlock kind of came across that way to some people, and he was not very kind to Joan, who was the female Watson in that show at first, and it took him a while to warm up to her, I guess, and accept her as a near equal. So, I mean, in some ways, I guess some of that showed up in that television show that was different than what I thought would be, Sherlock Holmes. But if you read the books, I mean, he's pretty full of himself anyway. I mean, what I have read, I mean, he was a character who was delineated as very intelligent. Uh, picked up on all the stuff that nobody else paid any attention to. And honestly, until this, Mycroft to me was just sort of an afterthought in all the stories. He was there, but I don't know if we knew that much about Mycroft. But I like the book. I like the book very much. I think it's turned out to be, in some ways, taking us all a little bit by surprise, because we're in our third week or whatever, and we're still just finishing up chapter 4. And I think that's because it's led to so many more in-depth discussions and more sideline discussions about that time period and what the mindset was then for her and for them. And I find it quite interesting. I'm like you guys. I've had to kind of throttle myself not to finish reading it, and it's because I want it. When I first picked it up, I read about 4 chapters all at once when we were reading the first 2 or the first one in a prologue or whatever, and I thought, wow, this is pretty good. Honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect. It certainly exceeded my expectations.
And I kind of agree with the sentiment as the rest of the panel. I like this. I like maybe what I like is that while it's given me a different spin on Sherlock, and it's given me something more to the story. What we see out of Sherlock or Minecraft, either in book, in film, or in TV series. This is completely different.
I'm almost surprised, and maybe and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost surprised someone hasn't picked this up for a movie. At least it seems like to me it could have that possibility.
Isn't it a movie on Netflix?
Well,
It is.
yeah, it is. That's true. It is on Netflix. That's right. I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying is like, I've watched Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock. I've watched Elementary. I've watched the Sherlock Holmes movies. I've watched some of the other stuff that's out there, and it's totally taken it to a different spin on a lot of things. There's some old Sherlock. Again, I'm a nerd, so I've watched a lot of TV. I've read a couple here and there on the books, and I do enjoy all of them. So, and I like the different spin on Sherlock. Maybe he does have to be brought down a peg. You know. So, what do you got coming up? I'm gonna it's 4:00, and I know I started a little bit late, so we're gonna this time around. I'm gonna start with Tim. What do you got, Tim?
Saturday morning, Sean. We'll have probably be an hour show this week because I believe Coffee and Contemplation will be on at 11. I'll be on at 10, and I'm not sure exactly what we'll talk about this week. Chris will probably be there again unless he's not feeling well. And we pretty much welcome all topics. I don't know if we'll have a theme this week or not, but we always seem to find something to discuss at some depth. So by all means, come on in and have a cup of coffee.
Okay. Gina, I know that you're looking to start your channel, and I think you're just waiting for your direction. But you also have other things out there?
No, I mostly am on the streams as Classy Disney Mom, and my daughter has a channel. She does a lot of music editing and stuff on her channel, but we're trying to put together like a channel that I want to do with the like art as therapy, and so we're working on it, and I'm feeling like I moved around my office a little bit, my desks, and so I think we're getting pretty close to it. So I'm kind of
all right. I can't wait for you to start, and I can't wait to start watching your vlogs.
Oh, thank you.
And Yadi, you had a great week. You went down to Epcot, or went up to Epcot, considering that you live below Epcot. How was your trip? And
so much fun. I can't wait to go back. It was a one-night trip, which I've never done before. But hey, you get a lot in one night, so I think I'm going to do a lot more of those, We'll see, hopefully, if God willing. Today, I just posted my part 5 of my Loungefly collection. I can't believe it's part 5.
Loungefly, really?
That's a lot.
Surprising that you're into Loungefly. I never heard of that. Never even. I would never even guess.
And she's only at part 5. I mean,
each part has like 10 to 11 bags. So yeah, I posted. And then on Wednesday is my live out of somewhere in Miami, my Que Pasa Miami series, which is I'm going to some touristy spot and going live and just having a good time with chat. And Friday is my happy hour live at 8:00. I have a new time. I used to be at 6:00. But you couldn't get a lot of people at 6:00, because they're working or whatever. And
just like now, we get who we can, and we enjoy the people that show up. Sunshine, Simone, I don't know. Thank you for joining us today, and I can't wait to keep having you back.
Oh, no problem. I work for Chomps, and luckily, like, we take a 2-hour break from like 2 to 4, so that's how I can sneak on.
Nice.
But I still have to answer the phone, but it doesn't ring.
Excellent.
I thank you for showing up, Sunshine.
No problem.
Awesome job. And as far as I know right now, welcome in, Dennis and Gazi. We're just kind of finishing up. As far as I know right now, as scheduled, we'll be back on Tina Marie's place next week at 3:00 for book club. Okay. If that doesn't happen, you'll probably see a notification from me that I've still taken over, and maybe I don't want to give it back to her. Maybe I just stole it. We'll do competing streams. Of course, I'll be here by myself because all these lovely people will probably be with them, with her. I want to thank you guys for being here at the panel and chat. We would do this, and we're so happy to have you join in the discussion as much as possible, considering that we're all got our own mindsets, and we do pay attention to the chat, and I'm glad that you're here. Again, if you're looking to read along with us, we are doing this book here, which is Enola Homes, Missing, in the Case of the Missing Marquess. I think we should just go another chapter. We should go on chapter 5 for the next week, because it doesn't seem like if we pick 2 chapters, we're just going to get stuck.
Don't do that to me, Tracy. I need to read more than one. You'll kill me. I'll be like, what?
You have to, Yanni, you have to sacrifice for the better of the group.
Sacrifice, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just.
I got you. Okay.
Okay. So everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you, chat. And my last plug, don't forget the live place. You want to find a family-friendly live streamer, go to the live place. And I will say what I've got coming up. I've got Kenzie Days going on in 25 minutes. So if you haven't checked out Kenzie Days, go and check out Kenzie Days. And then I have Not Wasting Time. Huh?
And think about subscribing.
Oh, absolutely. If you're new to here, please consider subscribing, ringing the bell. Please make sure you hit that like button. I want to thank you all for being here. Guys, have a great day. Thank you for giving me your Monday.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.